Today we're making this beautiful goat cheese tart with fresh tomatoes on top, fresh herbs in it. So easy, so delicious. And I knew Lulu's ready for hers, right? You ready for some goat cheese tart? I'll take that as a yes. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do in a medium-sized bowl, you're gonna add 8 ounces of room temperature goat cheese, along with 2 eggs and a 1/4 cup of milk. Now you're just gonna mix this all together so you have a nice creamy mixture. Okay. See how easy that was? All right, so now, so it's okay if you have a couple lumps. All right, so next we're gonna add about a 1/4 cup of chopped shallots. All right, shallots are nice for this recipe because they're very, very subtle in flavor, but it gives it a nice oniony flavor. I wouldn't recommend using like a yellow onion or like a red onion. Those are a little bit stronger in flavor. Shallots are just nice and subtle. If you don't have shallots, I would use scallions. Okay, so we got those in there. All right, next we're gonna add some fresh herbs. All right, so we're gonna add about a 1/4 cup of chopped basil, about a teaspoon of chopped parsley, and a teaspoon of fresh thyme. Again, I wouldn't want to use dry herbs for this one. You can if you want, but I would probably use about half of what we just put in here. But, you want this tart to be nice and fresh, and this is how it's going to be, how it's going to happen by using the fresh herbs. All right. Then you're going to want to add about a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, along with about half a teaspoon of granulated garlic. And now I'd rather you'd use the dried garlic rather than the fresh, because I think the fresh would just overpower the whole thing. But if you want to use fresh, go for it. Actually, if you roasted it first, then that would be really nice. All right, maybe next time. All right, so we got that all ready. Now we're gonna prep our tomatoes. For the tomatoes, you can use any kind you want. I'm gonna do a combination of cherry tomatoes and heirloom grape tomatoes. So now you're just gonna wanna cut these in half. As many as you want. I'm gonna use probably about 1.5 cups. So once you got them all cut up, you're gonna put them in a bowl, add a little bit of olive oil, just about half a tablespoon. All right, season with a little bit of salt. Again, to taste. And we're gonna add a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper. Just a couple turns. All right. So now you're gonna toss that all together. And we're gonna set this aside. So now what's gonna happen is some of the liquid's gonna come out of these tomatoes. You actually want that to happen because you don't want the tart to become too soggy. All right, so we're gonna let this sit for just probably like 10-15 minutes. Just try to get some of that moisture out of there. All right. So now we're gonna prep the puff pastry. So we have our thawed sheet of puff pastry. We added it on top of our sheet tray that's lined with some foil. And now with the foil, what you want to do is you want to get it right to the edges. So this way, once you start pouring on the ingredients, everything won't start sliding off. All right. Things like to move while they're cooking. So essentially what you're building is like a little cage all around the puff pastry. All right. So we got that done. Now we're ready to start adding our toppings. First thing you want to add is like a very thin layer of olive oil. You can either pour some on. I'm just going to use this little quick spray. All right. Just like that. Now we're going to spread our goat cheese mixture right on top. All right, so you want to spread this all over the puff pastry. You don't have to worry about if it's too even because it's going to spread as it's cooking. Cheese likes to melt. You want to make sure you get all of it. All right. So we're going to finish spreading this on. And once you got your goat cheese mixture spread on, we're going to grab our tomatoes. We're going to use our hands for this. And just going to throw the tomatoes right on. You don't need to do any pattern. You can if you want. That'd be kind of fun, but you're going to eat it, right? I know you eat with your eyes first, but this is still going to be very pretty. Look at all the different colors. That's why I wanted to use the heirloom. Plus, you get different flavors in this. But any tomato would do. You want to make sure you spread them out as much as you can. So every bite will have some tomato. All right. Get in here. All right. All right, that looks nice, right? Doesn't need to be decorated. All right, so now into a preheated 375-degree oven, it's going to go for probably about 30 to 40 minutes because the puff pastry has to cook, and that's pretty much what's going to take the longest. You're going to see the tomatoes are going to brown up a little bit. They're going to sink in, and then because we added the egg to the cheese, it's going to rise a little bit, but then it's all going to settle. All right, but you're going to notice that when this is going to be done, that the edges are going to be nice and golden brown. All right, so into the oven it's going to go. This has been cooking for 35 minutes, so we just pulled it out. You can see the edges are nice and golden brown. Tomatoes got nice and roasted. Oh, this smells so good. All right, so we're going to let this cool. You're going to know it's cool when the cheese starts to settle down a little bit. Then we're going to give it a try. So we've given this plenty of time to cool, so now it's time to taste. You got the goat cheese, the herbs, the tomatoes. So juicy. Perfect for brunch, for lunch, or any time. You try this recipe, let us know. Thanks for watching.
If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Poppy's Cucina. Thanks!